important topic, climate change in extreme weather. This is taking my time. Just a minute. Yeah. So what are the points I am going to discuss? This is climate system and what is the difference between climate variability and climate change, and what from the based on the instrumental record, what are the climate changes that occur globally and as well as also India, and how it is this object climate change is related to the extreme weather. And there are also the governing body, international governing body like IPCC and many various platforms like that. They are giving some climate projection for near future, and the implication of increasing extreme weather due to climate change, how it is going to affect the disaster management, and also how IMD will take care of that part. So this is the climate system. If you see lithosphere, atmosphere, hydrosphere, biosphere, they are the major component of Earth atmosphere system climate. So that consisting of all, we call it climate system. And there are various processes that is interacting. Sun radiation is the prime source of energy, and there are atmospheric gases, and interaction, latent heat release, all this evaporation, cloud interaction. So these are the processes of climate system. So this is a complex system, and we are dealing with a very complex system to study the atmosphere and climate. But new addition to climate system, that is the anthrosphere. What it mean by anthrosphere means which part of the climate system that is changed by the interaction with human. So this is the area that means the man-made climate change. So certainly some part we are, because of interaction we are changing the part of the atmosphere and climate. As a result, the climate change. So now new addition to the climate system, that is anthrosphere, that part of the climate system which is interacting with human being, and it is changed due to the interaction. Now basic difference when we are calling climate variability and climate change, most of the people sometimes we confuse with the variability and change. Variability vary with respect to time and space scale, and change is also with respect to longer time and space scale. If you see the variability, just this year is very hot, or this year is very cold, this summer is more rainy, or the previous summer was less rainy, something. So this is part of the variability. Some abnormal in a particular year, if we see, it is not a change. We don't call it change. So climate variability, they already define the temporal variation of the atmosphere ocean system around a mean state. If the mean state is that is how it is deviated from the mean state. Okay, that is variability. But change is any systematic change. When we see this variability of a systematic nature, and it persists for a longer time, and temperature, rainfall, longer time it is changing in the same pattern, then we call it a climate change. It can last for several decades or so. So when we define the climate change, we take generally a 30 years of, if there is 30 years of average, if there is a really change from this previous 30 years, then we call it a climate change. So there are climate change, it can be a long-term climate change because we have the record of only 200 years, let us say instrumental record, but the climate system exists for million of years. So there are various theories that deals with the climate change of long-term climate change, that is Milankovitch cycle, that are, but basically the three parameters, orbital parameters of the Earth, how it is rotating around the sun. So that is long-term climate change. And when we come to our instrumental record period, we call it climate change due to anthropic factor, that is greenhouse increase. So this is short-term climate change. So in the long-term climate change, there are three parameters. If you see here, there is axis of the Earth, that is near circle to elliptic axis, that this changes with very slowly, and it is a periodicity of 1 lakh year. And that is the obliquity. Obliquity means the angle of this tilting of 23.5. So it varies from 21.5 to 24.5. So this angle, obliquity angle, varies, and it is a period of 41,000 years. So this is long periodicity. And this is a precision. So this precision is also, this also changes, and that is around 21,000 years. So because of this is the orbital parameters, and the periodicity, if you see, this is the eccentricity 1 lakh year, obliquity about 41,000 years, and this is the precision change of precision axis, that is 26,000 years. 21. So this is long-term climate change. This help to your glaciation period, interglacial period. So all this long period climate change. This is the hypothesis, or this is the theory of Milankovitch, proposed by Milankovitch for long time. But we are dealing with very limited short-term climate change that is for associated with your anthropogenic changes. And if you look at this thing, how one of the major component of this anthropic climate change is the increasing carbon dioxide. And carbon dioxide, if you see last 40 years, it is around now less than 320 ppmv. Now it has more than 400. So this 50 years, there are tremendous increase in the carbon dioxide concentration of the atmosphere. As a result, if you see the global temperature lower panel figure, there is a systematic rise in the temperature anomaly. So from last 40-50 years. So once the changes are systematic, we call it global warming or climate change. So this warming is a systematic in nature and consistently it is occurring during last 40 years something. So this is now we can treat this as a climate change. And the major component why this carbon dioxide, the increase of carbon dioxide is the major source of the anthropogenic climate change. So if you see that this is a very simple concept of greenhouse effect. So greenhouse effect, because in atmosphere there are various gases present that we call greenhouse. Greenhouse, that is not just like water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide. All these are called greenhouse gases. So what it does, it allows the solar radiation, sun radiation to pass through these gases and it is received by the earth, observed by the earth's surface, the yellow line. But when it radiates back, that is in the infrared radiation, and when it radiates back, it is observed by the greenhouse gases present in the atmosphere. Greenhouse gases present in the atmosphere, and after that observation, again some of the thing is scattered back, and some of these thing again reflected back. So that will, once it is observed, that will warm the atmosphere, and when it will reflect back to the earth's surface. It will also warm the surface of the earth and also the near to the surface of the earth. So this warming, because of this greenhouse gases, are called global warming, and this is purely anthropogenic, as all this industrialization lead to the increase of carbon dioxide. And if you different sources and sink of the carbon dioxide, if you see there are many sources and sink, and if you do just these are the sources of the thing produced by deforestation, and this is produced by burning of fossil fuel. So this is how the carbon dioxide is generated, and how they sink. It is that observed by atmosphere. Atmosphere also observed by some amount, absorbed by ocean. So ocean also observed this carbon dioxide. So when the carbon dioxide will increase, even this led to the acidification of the ocean. That also we can call the more. So that will damage the marine life to many up to large extent. That means the marine life, because the ocean acidification will lead to the loss of marine life. Observed on land. So this is how during 2000 to 2018 carbon emission, the net is always there is increasing, because this is more than the loss. So if you see here, emission to the atmosphere from burning of fossil fuel rose from 6.3 petagram per year to 10.2 petagram per year. So this is a very large increase. That is also noticed during last 20 years. And this is how, if you see each gas component, how it is affected. This is the carbon dioxide concentration. This is warming. This is causing warming. So right panel, whenever this is zero line, right side it is the warming and net radiative forcing. So it is this side, if it is there, it is causing the cooling. So if you see CO2, the CH4, carbon, methane, and then H2O, all these are causing the warming. And here also halocarbon, CFC, etc. that is also causing warming. But some part of ozone, it is cooling. N2O, nitrous oxide, it is causing warming. So all these things are warming, and there are many other things also that is causing radiative cooling. Like here, aerosol cloud also because of aerosol. So, but net is always our warming. That's why our surface, because of the increasing major contribution of this industrialization and greenhouse gases, the Earth's surface is continuously rising. So that is on the global scale. We have it is documentary evident that last 50 years something there is increase in temperature, and that is because of the increase in the greenhouse gases. Now on the local scale also, we have whatever instrumental record we have. Even Indian region also, if we see land region, there is a systematic rise of the temperature, annual mean temperature, and observe maximum temperature also rise in temperature. There is this 1.144 degree per 10 years, and this is the anomaly lower panel and minimum temperature. So all these things is shown, it is reflected on the regional scale, the rise of temperature, or we can say global warming. Now when we want to relate it to the weather, extreme weather means how this is how it is connected to the day-to-day increase of weather, extreme weather. So before that, what is extreme weather? We just have to have our Indian, just this is the Indian map. If we see here, the India is surrounded by north, the mid latitude, and here tropical ocean. This is large, means land sea contrast are there, but throughout the year, any some type of extreme weather you will get. If you start from winter, you will get here heat, cold wave, and fog, and western disturbances. This is the winter time, western disturbances over affecting northern India. Then when you come to pre-monsoon, March, April, May, you have a large zone of thunderstorm activity occur over this Indo-Gangetic plain and Northeast India. Sometimes it is associated with lightning, squall, etc. So this is the period pre-monsoon. This is the weather during pre-monsoon. And pre-monsoon also we have some cyclonic storm. Arabian Sea, we have seen recently many intense cyclone in pre-monsoon time over Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal. So this is pre-monsoon time, we also get the severe cyclonic storm. And then when we come to the monsoon season, June to September, this is mid-tropospheric cyclone, offshore vortex, monsoon trough, monsoon low, all these cause heavy rainfall during the, and already we have experienced, this is the monsoon time, we have seen how monsoon heavy rainfall products are occurring over many parts of India. So India is surrounded by such that location throughout the year, any type of this or that type of extended your extreme weather we are getting. And post-monsoon, very severe cyclone storm again, October, November, December. So throughout the year. And if you see 7,000 kilometers here, the coastal line, it's prone to cyclone. Then this is the region of heavy rainfall. And we get depression and systems that cause heavy rainfall. 40 million hectares a year flooding region. There are also monsoon failures or drought. It leads to the drought. And drought, moderate drought, heavy probability of heavy, moderate to severe droughts, a large part because of rainfall deficiency, we get drought. And this is the heat wave, March, April, May, June heat wave. And this is thunderstorm. Already you have seen 100 days are more than 100 days are the frequency, normal frequency of. And this is the sometime we get a tornado also. So all type of weather and cyclone pre-monsoon. This is Arabian Sea and Bay of Bengal. How we are facing the cyclone because of the vast coastal line. So in general, India is a lot of all type of extreme weathers are there: droughts, landslide, forest fire, earthquake, flood, heat wave, cold wave, cyclone, thunderstorm, heavy rainfall. So that all these are called hydrometeorological disasters. So India is facing all type of hydrometeorological disasters. And this is the natural phenomena you will see every year, and cyclone or flood, and this is the drought and cloud burst, and this is how heat wave, cold wave. So all these are there in the India. Now come to why. So how we relate the climate change to all these things. That is, if you see this graph, this is the suppose the left one, this is a normal distribution of past climate or previous climate. And now because of climate change, rise in temperature, so we have, the present thing is shifted toward the right. So as a result, whatever small area earlier was occupied by for the severe weather, now that area large, that area has increased. That area has increased. That's a more record hot weather, more record extreme precipitation. So that we are going to get because of the shifting of the mean toward the higher. This is the climate change and how it is related to your extreme weather. And one is your temperature and another is rainfall. So we'll see. And if you see the statistic how it is affecting over the South Asia, let us say ASEAN, impact of this hydrometeorological disaster. If you see 90% of the event, 70% of the casualty and 65% of economic losses are related to hydrometeorological hazards. So if you see here, flood is maximum here, all these things. This is loss of life, this is economic loss, and this is your number of events. So if you look at this thing, the 90%, 70%, and 60%, very high contribution is coming from the hydrometeorological disaster, economic loss, the casualty, and also the event. So this is the real fact. Now come object changes in the extreme weather over India. Since we have the record of observational record of IMD having the observation since 1875 and even some observation before that also. So we have the observation record for 150 years something. So how really observe climate change? Whether whatever the observation is there, whether that is also showing some climate change. That we will see. And first we'll see the temperature and rainfall. If you see, this is the heat wave, how the normal temperature more than 37 degree. More than 37 degree, how many days are there? So this long-term climatology. And this is the area of heat wave. So most part of heat wave, this is normal climatology area of heat wave. So if you see North India and some eastern part of the India, coastal belt, all these things are affected by heat wave. And if you see the trend, heat wave from last 30 years, 1961 to 2010, 40 years, if you see, there is almost everywhere, there is increasing frequency of heat wave. Only over the foothills region or some region, there is slight decreasing frequency. Otherwise, the heat wave is already shown increasing trend over most part of India, significant increasing trend. And yes, that you can see significant increasing trend of heat wave over major part of India. Now come to the rainfall, because rainfall is the 1st June to 30 September, that is our monsoon rainfall main period, where most of the rainfall is occur for the annual during this 4 months. About 70 to 80% rainfall. This is the high rainfall belt, west coast of India, northeast India, and central India, where low rainfall over the northwest India and southeastern coastal range. So on year-to-year basis, if you plot from 1875 to 2019, here 2019, you will see there are here bulk all dot years, many dot years here, epoch here dot epochs, many dot years there. And these are some of the thing epoch where it more flood years, means excess year. And after 24 years, we got an excess monsoon year last year, 2019. So this failure of monsoon, this is also showing some variability. Sometimes drought frequency are increasing. So most of the drought in last 20 years, you can see here, only except last year was excess year, otherwise many drought years. So there is also just a increasing frequency. And but when you say this, the rainfall variability, droughts are there, but there is no trend. If you cannot draw the trend, that means overall fortunate part of the thing that overall rainfall over India, monsoon rainfall is not showing any significant increasing or decreasing trend. That is a very good sign, but there is difference angle here. But that increasing, though the rainfall is not showing any increasing trend, but if when we say the frequency of heavy rainfall, means 122 days monsoon season, but how many days are with more heavy rainfall event, that frequency are now increasing. So frequency of heavy rainfall, that means one day it will rain at the cost of no rain or very light rain for 5-7 days. So that is happening, or that is because of the increasing in extreme weather. And study also show this increasing extreme rainfall events are more over the urban area compared to rural area. So that is also another thing that also will lead to the urban flooding and all these things that we are observing this also. The city like Delhi, Mumbai or Nagpur, all these things, many cities are now facing urban flooding. So urban, this is also study has shown that there is increasing frequency of heavy rainfall more in urban area. Yeah, so that are leading to the increasing frequency of flood and also drought. Drought, as I said, earlier cases and this case, drought also is increasing. So these are all observed climate change. And when we wanted to see the last 30 years, because last 30 years are the representative for current period. So we also investigated from the station data from IMD. So last 30 years, if you look at this thing, this is the dry days. Dry days means no rain day. This is the rainy days. Rainy days were just to your 2.5 mm to 6.5 mm. That will be moderate type of thing, rainfall. But this is the extreme rain. So there are many areas, even last 30 years also, there are increasing frequency of heavy rainfall event. Okay. So this increasing frequency of extreme weathers, this increasing intensity of frequency of hydrometeoric disaster, increasing value of exposed element due to development and demographic expansion. So this is a disaster risk management is a critical component of climate change adaptation. That means climate change is directly linked with your extreme weather and also had implication to the disaster management. Yeah, this already said. And to explain this, why this extreme, why the extreme events are increasing because of the global. So just if you have a look, global warming, rise in temperature. So rise in temperature means increasing evaporation, ocean evaporation. So evaporation will, because this is non-linear. The glaciers clapper non-linearity. So slight increase in temperature means very significant amount of increase of evaporation. And once evaporation increase moisture content of the atmosphere. In atmosphere, the moisture holding capacity is increasing. That means it can hold more moisture. And increasing small scale convective system. Once the moisture holding capacity is there, a small scale convective system is there, and because of the increasing conditional instability means atmosphere is more unstable. So this cloud formation will there and rainstorm will occur. That's why heavy downpours are more frequent because of this, how the global warming is causing the increasing rainstorm over the central and north India, because our convective instability, that means the degree of convective instability. In convective instability means if air pressure will rise without means just by giving small push, that will lead to the formation of cloud. So that atmosphere is conducive now. The degree of convective instability is increasing, and increasing rise in temperature and moisture holding capacity increasing, and it is leading to the increasing rainstorm and heavy rainfall. But this has created another problem also, because of the increase of frequency of heavy rainfall. So the average error doubling time over central India means the error now is in the prediction in the model is now that error whatever there is now coming early. That means your error of prediction is early. So lead time, you will not get sufficient lead time for capturing this high rainfall event. So that's why we will not get very longer lead time, that before 7 days or 8 days or 10 days, this much amount of rainfall will happen. So that is also not possible. So that will give you challenges to the prediction and disaster managers. Now, future climate scenario. Future climate scenario, there are international body, as I was mentioning, under different scenario. So what is the existing climate, different scenario, like how the development, population development, industry development will take place. So IPCC, International Panel of Climate Change, they have come out with different scenario, extreme scenario of increasing CO2 up to large extent and up to moderate extent or something. So then under different scenario, already IPCC every 4 years, 5 years, they are bringing out the assessment report. So this is, we are not called prediction. This is, we call it projection. This is a projection. If this thing, the scenario will be like this, then the climate projection is expected to be like this. So this is a projection. And 2013, the AR5, that all inter-comparison model, climate model inter-comparison project, CMIP, they all integrated all the models, and the model results were assessed, and they gave the projection. Right. So in general, to summarize the projection, so this is the increase, mean and variance. So future, so this future will be, you will have more hot and more extreme weather. So the projection is that temperature, in terms of temperature, you have more record hot weathers. And in terms of precipitation, projected climate trend, heavy rainfall probability is likely to increase. So this is overall what we have seen in the observed climate change, that is also more or less projected in the future climate scenario. Okay. And before IPCC now under preparing the next assessment report, AR6, so that will come very soon. Before that IPCC has come out for the special report. That means 1.5 degree centigrade and 2 degree centigrade. If this is the temperature rise, then how it will be distributed on regional scale? So they have special report, they have brought out a special report of temperature rise by 1.5 degree from pre-industrial area or 2 degree. In that case, how it will be mean temperature, how it will be distributed on regional scale? If you see here, the Indian region, yeah, about most part, many part we will have that rise in temperature by 1.5, and here also the regional scale over India also will have about 2 degree. And mean precipitation very likely increase by precipitation percentage about 5 to 10%, and here also 5 to 10%. So this is the special report they have brought out. In case it means if some of the changes is by 1.5 degree increase temperature and 2 degree, then in that under that scenario, what will be the changes in regional scale on temperature and rainfall? And with respect to your hot days also, how many days means there is also likely increase of hot days. So here if you see India, it is about something, some parts it is showing about 20 days. So changes in number of hot days, changes in number of hot days. So here 2 degree case it is slightly more. So that is the hot days will increase. Similarly, the heavy rainfall, the projected changes in annual 5-day maximum precipitation as a function of global warming. If you see Indian region, so here there is an increase of 5-day heavy precipitation. That means the heavy precipitation also expected to increase under this changes of global warming by 1.5 degree. So whatever that means there is substantial evidence that human-induced global warming has led to an increase in frequency, intensity, and amount of heavy precipitation event at the global scale, and that is also reflected. That is going to be there over the South Asian country like India. Okay, so this climate change, how to address that one? So I will just cover some few things. So the people are, this is evident that climate change is occurring, and also the extreme weather is increasing. This is going to pose a serious problem to the disaster managers. So how do we provide the services? So the international body like WMO, World Meteorological Organization, they have come out with global framework of climate services. So under this scenario of climate change, how do we provide the service to all sector, those who will be affected? Because health sector will be affected, your disaster means increasing frequency with disaster management, that sector will be affected. Your water sector will be affected, potable water availability will be reduced. Health sector, bigger vector-borne disease. Now we are already means one COVID we are facing. So energy sector demand will increase. So all these sectors, even this is a 5 area only, but other sectors also will be affected because of the climate change. So how we prioritize these things and provide the best services so that the climate change risk will be managed for different sectors. And this is the WMO prime area for that also. They are working on this thing. And it's similar to GFCS. We have the national framework of climate services, and we are working also for India to provide the services to different sectors. And as far as our is concerned, since we are talking about the extreme weather, the problem area for this extreme weather, how do we predict this extreme weather? Means the predictability issue, the problem, what are the many challenges? How do we predict these mesoscale events? Due to global warming, the prediction of extreme event likely to due to prediction of extreme event likely to decrease. Means this one, prediction, how we can predict. Heavy rainfall predictability is slightly less in the lower scale in the model. So we have already, as I mentioned, error doubling time of extreme rainfall event during last 30 year decrease from about 3 days to 1.5 days. So we will not get lead time. So all this is a challenging area for the early warning for the department like IMD, who is the national med service provider for the country. So we have to look out for the solution. Enhancement of observation network to detect mesoscale event. We will have the good observation networks, IMD working for that, radar, satellite, high resolution model, improve the data estimation, mesoscale model, then go for ensemble prediction, because probability, sometimes one deterministic forecast may not give accurate results, so we'll go for a probabilistic forecast. So for that, we have to have your ensemble prediction system, high resolution. Capacity building means forecaster has to be trained to deal with all these things. So for capacity building, so all these areas are a part of the disaster management, and IMD is working for that. So we have a all time scale prediction part is there. In addition to monitoring of the weather through satellite, radar, and other observational systems, we have a sophisticated model ranging from nowcasting, very few hour prediction, to the seasonal scale. So that we are, and also location wise. Now the people need location specific work forecast, mean block level, small subdivision level, all this level, district level. So at smaller spatial scale, smaller temporal scale. So we are how to we can give a good early warning for the disaster manager, and we are working for that. All sort of models we are having here, starting from dealing for a mesoscale event to synoptic scale event, 1 week something, monsoon low, depression, cyclone, and also the couple model like ocean atmosphere couple model, which will help for your extended range forecast like active break cycle or heat wave for longer duration. So we have a different set of models are there, and high resolution, and with the availability of high supercomputer in by IMD, Ministry of Earth Science, we are running all models, and all products are available for the forecaster to give the outlook and services to different sectors. And this is the how you are working in IMD. The forecast means all sort of observations will come, and that initial condition will be prepared, and the model will be run, and then numerical forecast will be created. Once the numerical forecast will be created, different models, different probability forecast, it will go to forecaster. Forecaster will see the model forecast, and also the initial think directly what is initial parent conditions. Then he will generate the customized forecast for the that is called end forecast. This is not, which is not the direct model forecast. This is some tuned by, moderated by the forecaster, and that end forecast will be disseminated to the decision maker in terms of plain language or graphical language or warning, etc. So this we are working because, and this is a challenging area as extreme weathers are now more frequent on smaller spatial scale and smaller temporal scale, and this IMD will look working for that one. And another thing, IMD also is focusing now the impact that forecast. Already our respected DGM sir has already covered that part in his talk. How we impact it is not only that this is the forecast we are giving. This forecast, what it will do means what are the things it will affect. If multi-hazards warning, rainfall, wind, landslide, one event can cause many delays. So we are also working for that. That is called impact-based forecasting. To deal with these disaster, extreme weathers, increasing frequency of extreme weathers, we have to also adopt these things to minimize the effect of climate change, or effect to reduce the impact of extreme weather. Now, just I will summarize here. If you summary, climate change is leading to increasing frequency of extreme weather that we have seen in our observations, observation data, as well as from various model projection also indicating the same. The risks of climate change are inequitable. With developing country like India will be impacted more, because India is the Southeast Asia country, population density, coastal, close to coastal, exposed to coastal area. So all these things. So the climate change, though it is global phenomena, the country like India will be impacted more. So we have to adopt the plan and etc. to deal with this situation. IMD has taken many steps toward improving the early warning of disaster weather in recent times. We have improved our observation system, modeling system, and also now the forecasting, and we are going for impact-based forecasting, so that we have improved our early warning, so that the disaster manager will be able to take that forecast to, that is called actionable forecast, to work for the to manage the disasters, impact of the disaster. Now the impact of forecasting will be very useful in minimizing the adverse impact of adverse weather through effective disaster management. So this is another area we have already started in cyclone, and now we are going for heavy rainfall, etc. And that definitely in future this will be a more useful tool for managing the disaster. Thank you very much.